Hey guys, Miki Kilby here, and welcome to another episode of Miki's Place. I am so excited that you guys are here today, and I want to talk about something that's really dear to my heart. I kind of touched on it last podcast, and what I want to talk to you guys about is marriage, and specifically this kind of some of the secrets to having a happy marriage. How many of you guys feel like you have struggled in your marriage? Maybe you've had second thoughts. I know that we've all been there. I've been there. My husband's been there. You're kind of at a place sometimes where you're ready to be done and you don't really want to be done necessarily, but you don't know what else to do. It feels like your marriage is unraveling, and that's a really, really difficult place to be in. I know some of you have known me for a really long time, so you've seen me walk that path. But for those of you that are just getting to know me and meet me, we've been married for almost 25 years, but we almost didn't make it. At about year 4, we had our first baby, and I didn't understand at the time, but I also had postpartum depression, and so that really played a role into everything. But our marriage was unraveling, and it was unraveling really rapidly. I actually started looking for a place to live. And I remember we were in the car one day and we were fighting again. And I actually told my husband, I said, don't take me home. I'm not going home with you. I am completely done with this marriage. You're going to take me to my parents' house. And the car was quiet. And we had our little baby in the back seat. And, I mean, maybe some of you guys can really relate to this. You can understand the turmoil that is going through our systems at that moment. I can even remember the stoplight that we were at when we were having this conversation. And, we didn't talk much the ride home, and we were getting closer to home. And he said, hey, give me 24 hours. Give me 24 hours. And if you still feel the same way in 24 hours, I will take you to your parents' house. And I thought, you are the biggest fool that I've ever married. I will give you your stinking 24 hours and I'll be done because nothing's going to change. I'm just done. And I thought, he's so stupid. I'll tell you, that was the smartest the smartest thing that he ever said, because it helped me to be able to calm down, to reassess my feelings and what was happening. And we were finally able to actually truly communicate. I don't know if there was some sort of barrier in the, let me rephrase that. Yes, there was some sort of barrier in the way we were communicating, and something broke free in that 24 hours that I gave him. And, we were finally able to actually talk about some hard things that we were not able to anymore. My temper had gotten the best of me, and we would argue, and he would not understand what I was saying, and we would just go in circles and we would fight a lot. And so something broke free in us at that moment. And one of the biggest things is, at that time in our lives, we were not really walking with the Lord. We were not putting him first in our lives. We were putting ourselves first, and then we were putting our marriage second, and then we were putting the Lord. And we individually had to make that shift. That my personal life, for me, is that the Lord has to come first before my husband. And that was kind of hard for me to understand at first. When I did that shift, though, when I started truly putting God first, I mean, just the floodgates of love opened up for my husband. I could see him in a completely different light. I could see our marriage start to grow and blossom into what it has become today. But if we had given up on year 4, we would not be at year 24 right now. So 20 years later, here we are. And so I want to share with you guys some of the things that we have implemented in our marriage over the years. Some of it's kind of been unspoken. It just kind of started happening, and some of it we talked about. But one of the biggest things for me is that we started understanding love languages. That is a really key thing. If you guys have never looked into that, I will put a note about love languages in the show notes, and I'm going to make a note of that. Otherwise, I will forget. And so we understood our love languages. We started, he's words of affirmation. And so I started acknowledging all of the little things that he would do for me and for our family and around the house. Just saying thank you, thank you so much for washing all of the laundry. I really appreciate that. That's been a huge, load off of my shoulders. Instead of going, yeah, you washed the laundry, but you didn't fold it and you didn't put it away, and I still have to do all of that. He did part of it, and I learned to appreciate that he did part of it. I learned to appreciate that when he does dishes, he does them completely different than I do, but they get done. And that's okay. And I learned to tell him, thank you. Thank you for doing the dishes. Thank you for taking care of our children. Thank you for pouring into the lives of our kids. And, thank you for marrying me. Oh my gosh, thank you for putting up with me. So, recognize their efforts and find out what their love language is, and fill their love back up in their own language. One of the other things that we did is we started working on finding joy with each other in our daily lives. So sharing moments together, sharing coffee together. One of the things that we prioritize as much as we possibly can is in the morning, we both sit down and we have coffee together. And so I've had to sometimes rearrange how I structure my morning routine so that coffee time with my husband is treasured time that we spend together. And that's our quiet time in the morning, and we talk, and we don't really have like in-depth marriage arguments or discussions at that time. It's more of just like getting to know each other. How was your day? How did yesterday go for you? Oh yeah, you went and saw such and such customer. How was that? How was that person? Just getting to just reconnect, I guess. And doing that really sets the stage for the rest of our day. And then some of the other things that we do to kind of find joy in our lives is we dance, sometimes just in the kitchen. And one of the things that I really want you guys to understand is it's okay to hug and not have the kids get between you. That's actually really important to dance in the kitchen and not have the kids shove their way between you, because you guys have to be the unit, you guys have to be the partners, and then the kids. You guys need to provide a unified front. And I know that might sound silly, like, oh, they're just in there to get a hug. And sometimes that's okay, but they can't always try to get between the two of you, because you guys are the solid unit. You guys have to maintain that so that you can be effective parents for your kids. You want to embrace and you want to create positive experiences. Whatever, maybe you guys don't like to dance, and that's totally okay. Find something that you like to do together. Just kind of spur the moment sometimes, even just maybe it's an unexpected hug or whatever. And then some of the other things that we do is we really try to share like our feelings with each other without any set expectations. Not like, I don't expect you, I just need you to hear me on this. But I don't expect you to necessarily do anything about it. And I think that's kind of hard for men sometimes to hear you say, this is how I feel, because they really want to come in and they want to fix it. And I think we also sometimes as women, we want them to fix it without really even thinking about it. We want them to fix it, but we want them to fix it in the way that we want. And so if you can communicate with each other and share your feelings without having that expectation of, you need to do this and fix this for me the way I want it fixed, it can be a beautiful thing and a beautiful way to communicate. You guys, one of the things also as women, and maybe it's just me, I don't know, but actively listening. Like, my brain is going 10 steps down the road and I'm thinking of the next thing, and maybe we're having a conversation, but I'm hearing the dryer go off and I'm hearing the dogs wiggle and all the things, and I have to pay attention to him sometimes. I have to kind of shut all that out, and actively listen to what he's saying to me. Not just the words, but what is he actually trying to say to me? What is the underlying thing that he is speaking to me? And I need to do that in a way that I'm not waiting to answer what he's saying. I'm literally just listening to him. And when we get to the end of that, I might not remember all the things, but when we get to the end of that, we're able to talk about what's going on. And it takes a lot of practice for people like me that have that squirrely brain. But I promise you, the more that you can practice actively listening, the better the communication is going to be. And you guys, you really need to talk about those hard things. The things that are really upsetting you that you're shoving down and you're not discussing, they will come out eventually. And oftentimes they come out in a huge blow up that seems very unexpected to your husband. He had no idea that you were feeling this way. And now you're yelling at him and he's, kind of hands up like, I don't know what you're talking about. Holy moly. And you're like, this has been going on for weeks, but you never said anything. So you really need to make sure that you're talking about the hard things, the things that are really upsetting to you. And when you as a female can learn to open up and trust your husband with your heart, the more you do that, the more he's going to protect that and take care of that because you are trusting him with something precious and he will come to realize that. And so then he will trust you with his heart and you need to do your best to protect that. And that builds that level of trust and that builds an understanding with each other. And this, you guys, this does not happen overnight. This takes time and energy and effort, and you have to just keep on doing it over and over and over again. And sometimes you're not getting the feedback that you feel like you need, but you need to keep putting yourself out there and you need to keep loving on that person. And then something else is you need to share experiences together. You maybe need to go for drives together, go for hikes, go for walks around the park. You need to date your husband. You guys need to hear me on this. You need to start dating your husband again. If you're super busy, we are a super busy family. Put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar and make it an appointment that you guys will go to. Go out to dinner, do whatever it is that you guys enjoy doing, but reconnect and date. Doesn't have to be anything big. It could be what we go on mini dates, what we call mini dates. So we go, okay, we've got a pocket of time right now. You're not doing anything. I don't have anything I have to do. Let's go on a mini date. We get coffee. Maybe sometimes it's only 30 minutes and then we're back home and we're doing all the things. So don't forget how important it is to date your husband. And something that we're going to try to start implementing is, a weekly date and like a quarterly, every other month, every 3 months or so, where we go away for a weekend. And we still haven't done that. In January, I was like, I really want to start doing this. And now March is here and we don't even have it on the calendar. So it's in my plan. I'm planning to have quarterly getaways. That's so important to keep the marriage, alive and keep that spark going and all the things. And, also guys, never stop being playful. Be silly with your kids or with your kids too, but be silly with your husband. Do the things that you did while you were dating. Catch his attention. Be silly. Wear something nice that that he likes. And, share a laugh together. Just maybe he walks in the door and he's not expecting anything. You give him a big hug and a kiss. Whatever that looks like to you, but have fun. Have fun with him. And, that'll help really keep that spark going. It'll help the intimacy and just the fun and the bond that you guys can experience in marriage. Okay, so to recap, you guys acknowledge the small things that they do. I want you to start looking for the joy in your daily life together. Communicate, y'all. Stop just shoving all that down and just, oh, I don't need to talk about it. Y'all are not fine. Stop saying you're fine and communicate. It's okay to talk and it's okay to cry in front of other people. Communicate, share experiences together, go on the hikes, go on the walks, go have coffee together, and always, always keep it playful and be silly. All right, you guys, I love you. If you enjoyed this, if you learned from this, let me know. Tag me, take a picture of the screenshot. If you're seeing the video, take a picture of that and tag me at Instagram, Mickey's_place. And I will give you guys a shout out, tag me and put it in the stories or whatever. And I'll give you guys a shout out. And also, if you guys want to connect further on like a daily basis, we have a community that you guys can join, and that's going to be down below in the show notes. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen, and I love you all. And I just want you all to have an incredibly blessed marriage and an incredibly blessed family. So I will see you next week.